Hey nerdlings!
Hello, nerdlings!
So we just got to check out the first annual CaveCon, which
And
is
that was a lot of fun. It was put on by Comic Cave, our local and amazing comic book shop.
so lots of comic book stuff there and everything. And you know what? Let's just jump right into the pickups.
Yeah.
I think one of the coolest pickups was
Check it
yeah.
out!
Woo. Official CaveCon shirts.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but this dragon, I'm getting like a strong Ripley vibe from Metroid. Just saying. Just saying.
I just like that it's a dragon.
So, what else did we get?
Lots of good stuff. Let's show them.
All right. So, there were a lot of booths to hit up. And first and foremost, we had the DK barrel to roll around. Again, everyone loves it. Everyone always has something nice to say about it. And I don't think you broke your record this time.
No, it was only 23 pounds this time, not the full 25 that it was the last time. But I highly recommend those. If you ever find those on eBay or whatever, they don't take up a lot of room like a wagon does because they're all vertical, but they are really easy to pull with the big wheels. Really back savers. Much better than just a backpack.
That's true.
Or shopping bags.
You know, and of course it depends on what you buy. We pick up a lot of comics and trade paperbacks.
Yeah.
Those get heavy fast. Having something that you could just wheel around, yeah, definitely might be a little easier on the back.
Yeah.
But, well, speaking of comics, one of the things that we were most excited about was the fact that
Mr. Cullen Bunn.
he was there, and we both actually had some stuff that we brought.
We did. So I brought some of my singles for him to sign, just my Night of the Living Deadpool and the Back in Black series that I had already had and read, and I had him sign those for me.
And she had a
and then I also had one trade paperback for him to sign, the Secret Wars of Deadpool. He signed the inside for me.
And I had all of the X-Men Blue so far. And of course, he signs the insides
of the trades. He signs the outsides of the singles and then the insides of the trades.
And the nice thing is he had absolutely no issue signing all of this stuff. It was a bunch of stuff to sign, but he didn't mind.
Yep.
Of course, we tossed some money into a little donation thing because, guys, you know, support these guys. It's awesome that they come to these cons, and it's super awesome that they're nice enough to sign this stuff for you. And speaking of the con, you got some buttons, right?
I did. Not only did we get our really awesome CaveCon shirts, which they actually had two different designs. They had this design, and then they had just a very normal looking, it just said CaveCon. But we like this one because I'm into dragons, and he thought it was Ridley. So
it's totally.
So yeah, but not on top of that, they actually, this is what it looked like actually, just like that. But they also had some enamel buttons, and everyone knows how much I love my buttons. So I got the fun CaveCon button, and then one that says CCO 18 on it.
Because this had better be the first of many more CaveCons.
Exactly. I want 19, 20, 21. So, super cool.
And then earlier on our shirts, you probably saw that we had the lanyards, you know, to get us in for
Dark
2-day
Horse,
passes.
and then our passes to get us in and everything.
And in case you did not bring your DK barrel, they did have a Dark Horse bag. But the reason we grabbed it...
Zelda! They had a bunch of different ones of these. We had to dig for the Zelda one, actually, though. They had some other ones that were fun, but not as much fun as Zelda.
And, of course, along with Zelda, there were some nice Zelda postcards. Look at that. Greetings from Hyrule.
Are they all the same?
How sweet. I believe they are. I saw only the same design.
Okay.
So
I couldn't remember, because I know we grabbed a bunch.
We went ahead and grabbed a couple, you know, in case we want to actually send them out.
Yeah.
We might know some people who are into
We might know a few some peoples.
Now, keeping with the comic theme, one of the best vendors that she absolutely loves is at STL.
STL, or St. Louis Comics. I love them. I actually first encountered them at Rubicon and bought a bunch of trade paperbacks. If you remember back to that video, a bunch of trade paperbacks of my
Grimm's Fairy Tales and
so
that whole series.
So I was hoping to get them again this time because I had to leave a lot behind. There were actually not as many, so obviously someone else is out there snatching them up too. But I did manage to get my own. So I got The Jungle Book, and then I got Grimm's Fairy Tales Dream Eater Saga Volume 2, which is good because I think I already have Volume 1. And then we got Myths and Legends with the beast on the front of it.
Which probably not like the Hercules Legendary Journey Myths and Legends.
Then I got Tales from Wonderland Volume 3. And then we got Neverland. Hook. Hook, hook. Where's the hook? Hook, hook. Where's the hook?
You're afraid of the hook.
And then, of course, I have a new obsession with Angela. So I got a trade paperback that is the first issue of her showing up in Marvel from Spawn. She shows up in, I think it's either number 10 or 11 of Guardians of the Galaxy. And so this is like 1 through 10 or 11. I can't remember which one it is. So that's fun to have. And then I got Angela at... Woo!
Oh my gosh, that was exciting.
Oh, Angela going crazy.
Angela as Guardian Assassin. And then Angela, Queen of Hell. She's there with Hela.
And I believe you still have all the prices on here.
I do.
So...
Most of them were all $5. This one was $6, and I think one of them might have been $8. 2 of them were $8. So, yeah, really great prices. He managed to do a bundle for us because you got some from him as well, did you not?
I did. I just wanted to point out, even the ones that say 8 on the back, it is price marked at $17.99.
Yeah, this one 8 is marked at actually $24.99.
And then $15.99 on the back.
So, yeah,
so it's a great way to get them.
prices.
And all of these are in excellent shape too.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no backboard to them, but they are in bags. And just from like what I can see, none of the edges, the corners, or anything, nothing's roughed up or anything
Yeah, they
scuffed
take
over.
good care of their comics.
So yeah, one I went ahead and popped on. It was 10, but it is the first one for Back to the Future. And I have not read any of the Back to the Future comics, but I thought this might be a great place to start. Kind of throw a bunch all together.
A big Back to the Future fan that you are.
Yes, very true.
So...
Yeah, and I always wanted to kind of get into the comics, but I was like, I don't know. I made that mistake with Army of Darkness. Oh, it's probably only a couple of them. Couple hundred of them.
Which I actually, because he likes Back to the Future so much, I bought him a Deadpool and Cable book that was the 2 of them on the cover, but they were doing that Doc and Marty thing outside the DeLorean with the glasses. So
which I love
it was
that
a
cover,
mock-up,
by the way.
It was a mock-up cover, so I just thought that was fun.
And funny, I should talk about Army of Darkness because you have Vampirella in Army of Darkness. And I mean, I wanted to buy it because it was a good price. But, of course, since I like the Army of Darkness. But I also love this cover.
I love Vampirella.
I love how Vampirella's, like, picking out some negligee, and Ash is, like, just there shopping with her. You know, we've all been there, right, boys? Another fun little paperback was, actually, it's number 2, but it's Penny Arcade, the Epic Legends of the Magic Sword Kings. Back in the day, of course, I was a huge Penny Arcade comic fan. Used to read them all the time online, the web comics. So having something like this was very cool to pick up. I'm actually excited to check it out. I don't think I've ever read this unless it's collecting the web comics. I honestly don't know. I was just like, Penny Arcade, and look at that, $2. Heck yeah, you know, I mean, there's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
It's not tore up or anything.
So I'm going to ask a novice comic book question.
What's that?
I noticed Vampirella has a little tiny bat tattoo here on her breast. Does she always have that, or is it just
That's
in
the
this
first
mock-up?
time I've ever seen
That's
it.
the first time I've ever seen it, too, so I was just going to ask.
Maybe they hit another one of the shops while they were at the ball
I was
before
gonna say, I kind of like the little bat.
before going for the nightie.
It's cute. Maybe I need to get a little bat tattoo.
Well, you could have there because of the tattoo people.
I know, they were doing tattoos there.
Another...
I was very tempted to do that.
Yeah, she really was. I was not opposed. Another cool thing that STL or St. Louis Comics does is they will take sets, and I don't know if you can really see, but this is 1 through 6, so it's all of them, and it was only $4 for Bill and Ted. So it's not a trade paperback, but it's the whole like little limited run set, and I thought that was cool. And that $4, it's like, yeah, I'll check out.
I will say they did have something that was out of my price range that I was a little disappointed in. They had the very first run, not first printing, but the first 5 Marvel Zombies from the very first run.
Oh, yeah.
And they wanted $45 for the 5 of them, and I was like, oh, I can't do that.
Which,
but
I mean,
I really wanted it.
It is
cool,
a
though.
fair price.
Yeah,
for all
it
of
is.
those,
It's just,
but it's kind of hard to take that.
It's hard to drop
right
that
there.
when you're like, oh look, this one's $6. Here, and this is 5 issues in one, and then so it's kind of hard to be like, oh.
Now, there were a couple of other various comic
comics,
vendors, and we picked up some fun stuff.
We did. We got Tomb Raider and Arabian Nights.
And despite the price, we actually got this for 50 cents.
50 cents.
All of the guys' comics were 50 cents.
Yeah, and so another one we got for 50 cents was an Exile I didn't have, and I really like Blink and Psylocke, so I was like, oh look, they're both on the cover, so that's fine. And I didn't have that one, so... Anyway, and then at a different comic booth, I got this one. I thought it was kind of fun. It's World's Greatest Comic Magazine, Deadpool, but it's Mary Jane. So it's Mary Jane dressed up like Deadpool, and I just liked all the little nuances on the cover. Like there's a little stuffed Spider-Man on here. You know, she's just got some fun stuff going on. So yeah, I like that one. And then this one was kind of neat. It was called Uncanny Deadpool. Yeah, we're messed up. So what? So instead of it, it's X-Men Deadpool.
And it's like they're all burnt.
They're all
and
burnt.
They
to
are
look like
all messed up.
They're supposed to, look, I think they're supposed to look like Deadpool or something. So that's that was the comics that we picked up for the day that I got.
And just two more that I grabbed real quick. Just filling in some X-Men gaps. They were marked $2, but he had half price on everything.
Yeah.
So
for
$2, I got both of these, which was nice. And then the last comic that I picked up, actually the first comic that I picked up.
The first one, but the last one we're showing.
was Vampirella Fairy Tales. And this was by an artist. He was actually right there. And it says right here, Blacky Shepherd. And he had some very, very awesome prints. If we had more wall space, we totally would have been picking up more prints. Although he had an interesting idea for us.
Yeah, he was saying that you could put them in portfolios.
Yeah,
and then just like have a table, like a coffee table book. So we're like, ooh, that's a good idea.
That's a really great idea.
Because that has always stopped us from buying prints before. And most of the time, prints are like $10 for a 13 by 20
or of course,
whatever.
if you get a couple, you bundle them and get a cheaper price. But he was kind enough to sign this, so that was very cool.
He actually, he's an artist, comic book artist. He's actually collaborated with Cullen Bunn on a couple of
That's
things.
right.
So we were kind of having a fun conversation with him about some of the stuff that he had done with Cullen Bunn.
And I believe one of the things they had actually worked on was the new Vampirella Reanimator crossover series. Now, it wasn't all comics. The Metagames, a nice little tabletop gaming store in Springfield, was there. And you got to get some new tabletop
I did. I picked
games.
up one that I've been looking for, which is Star Trek, the original series, Flux, which I had my eye on, and The Next Generation, but he's sold out, I guess, right as soon as the doors opened or something. So I'll have to get that one later, but that's, But anyway, I love my Flux games. They're super fun, super easy to pick up, and so I'm a huge Trekkie, so.
And FYI, guys, if you're not familiar with Flux, they do have all kinds of fandoms that they're based off of.
Batman, Doctor Who, Firefly, one that's just Star Flux, which is like space and stuff. There's a drinking one. There's a holiday one. There's
Cthulhu, Monty Python.
There's even an anatomy one. But it's really easy. Basically, there's one rule: draw and play a card until, and then there's rules that you play in the game. And so basically, you just do whatever the cards say. It's the easiest game to pick up in the world, and it's nice and small, so it's really easy to fit in a bag or a purse or something, and take it to conventions or vacation and always have a game for you to play. It's just cards.
And the Flux games, they're also designed to where people can drop in and out at any time.
Yes, you can drop in and out at any time. You just immediately draw 3 cards to them. And
hey, you're sitting at the table, you're playing some games with your buddies, your friend, he finally finished eating his pizza and washed his hands so he can touch things again. And he comes in, he's like, hey guys, I want to play. And you're like, all right, here's your cards. Go.
Yep. Super easy game. Love that game.
And then the next one we got to try out there, which we got a little video of.
Yeah, we did. It's called Catch the Moon. And it's a really pretty art game, but it's also very simplistic. If you look here on the back, it's just a bunch of wooden ladders that the rungs are kind of in different shapes. And you have like this cloud base, and you roll 1 die, and there's either 1 ladder or 2 ladders, or the moon on there, and depending on what comes up, you have to, if 2 ladders come up, then your 1 ladder you place has to touch just 2 ladders.
No more, no less.
Or if it comes up with a 1, then it only can touch 1 ladder. And if
no more, no less.
No more, no less. And if the moon pops up, you have to be the tallest ladder.
And it doesn't matter how many ladders you're touching, as long as it's on top.
And if you knock a ladder off, or if your ladder falls off, then you have to take this teardrop, and then the person, if you're only playing a 2-player game, the person who gets 3 tears loses. If you're playing with more than 3 or more, then it's whoever takes the very last teardrop is the loser, and then whoever has the least amount of teardrops is the winner.
So, pretty basic explanation.
Oh, yeah.
Very pretty. You know, definitely a game, you know, for the whole family. Obviously, very safe, very easy to play, and you know, just kind of a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun. We sat there and played it for a little while, and I love when conventions do that. When they have games for you to purchase, but they also have games for you to try. Because honestly, I would not have bought this game, because when he showed it to me, it actually looked kind of complicated and convoluted, because it's like, oh my gosh, there's all these ladders and stuff. But we got to try it, and I was like, okay, I want to buy this.
Just kind of a heads up, maybe the perfect time to check out a convention in case you like tabletop games, because if they have a setup there and you can actually try them out, that could be the thing that sells you on whether or not you want to drop the money for it.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and a nice segue from those games, I got some games, some video games. There were some toys spread out and about and everything. Surprisingly, you did not pick up any toys this time. But there were a lot that were still sealed in blister packs, so, you know, the people that like to collect, complete and package, unopened and everything, definitely had you covered. Lots of vintage stuff.
A lot of vintage stuff, yeah.
And a fellow YouTuber watching Ellis, he had all kinds of stuff. He
did. He had
paperbacks, manga, board games, all kinds of
action
toys.
Figures, video game consoles.
Games, high-end action figures, so like definitely the more statuesque ones.
There was something I did have my eye on in his booth, and I kind of regret not snagging it up quicker than somebody else did. They had a huge AT-AT. Yeah. And honestly, I think I might have misread the price, because I thought it was out of my price range. And then somebody came up and it was only $40, and I was like, are you kidding me? So I was a little sad on that one. I think I read too many zeros or something.
That is a shame, because we could have had that, you know, face off against our GoBot command module. So the games that I got, and he gave me a fantastic price. And actually, it balanced out to where I got one of these free, and he didn't mind, because I'm pretty sure that he knows that they're going to a good home.
At forever home.
And hey, when you meet your buddies at a convention, you know, you gotta give them the buddy deal. So I really appreciate it. One that I've been wanting to pick up for a while now for the Dreamcast, Space Channel 5. Back in the day, Sci-Fi used to run Saturday anime, and once in a while, a live-action anime girl named Apollo Smile would host them. She does the voice of Ooh La La, and ever since then, I was like,
so cute.
It really is.
I love her outfit.
But ever since then, I was like, all right, I'll give this game a chance. And it is actually a fun game, and it's got Space Michael Jackson is in there dancing with you.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
Well, now he really is up in space.
Ooh. And then I couldn't pass up the original for the price that you see there. And of course, with the bundle deal, it was even cheaper. And I'm very glad to have this one, because the two Activision games are really fun and they're very different. The second one is much more action, adventure, platforming. This one, it's less focused on that. It's got a little bit of town building elements into it. So it's really cool. Oh yeah!
I didn't notice that.
The little lenticular cover. She's already dancing.
I found a Deadpool cover comic out there that was just like this.
I'm surprised you didn't.
They wanted too much money for it, just for what it was. I'm sorry, but they did. But oh my gosh, I'm just gonna sit here and do this.
And the last game I got was the Lost Vikings on Sega Genesis. Now, I never played it on Sega Genesis. I'm presuming that it is the same game as on Super Nintendo. And I used to play it so much on Super Nintendo. I got so close to the end. I've never finished it. There's at one stage where the spikes, you blow your guys up like balloons and you touch those spikes and they pop. And
I'm very disappointed.
It used to infuriate me. But the Lost Vikings, it's a puzzle platforming game. You have 3 Vikings. You have to get all 3 of them to the end. And if any one of them dies during the way, forget it. You have to start the whole stage over. It doesn't count. And each Viking has like specific abilities, and you have to work in tangent using those 3 to get them through the stage.
That sounds like it would drive me crazy.
It definitely would. It's a lot of fun though. And aside from those goodies, she does have one big thing.
One more big thing.
I did want to give a shout out to our local library center because they had information for Library Con, which of course you guys know we love Library Con, and it's very cool that they were there to remind other people, you know, definitely get those convention crowds.
Yeah.
So, just had to give them a shout out.
All right, I don't know if we'll be able to see it. Well, I might have to do a closer upper picture later.
Oh my goodness!
Look at this big old print.
How about I hold this and you talk it up?
So basically, it's Wonder Woman, but the thing that drew my eye to it was normally I'm a very detailed-oriented person. I don't like messy art, but it was actually the messiness that drew me to it because it's messy, but there's still a really beautiful detail in there. So I mean, like, you know, like even down here, I don't know if you can see in her skirt, it's just a messy blue scribbles, but he managed to get darker blue scribbles to differentiate the pleats. You know, and you've got her W. Her face is just really pretty. It's, I don't know, I really liked it. It's really big. And who knew that these card covers came this big? It's like a huge Pokemon card right there.
Yeah, that is an absolutely gorgeous piece, and the price was just right, and it seemed like it was one of a kind because as we were leaving, everyone
I know. We had the booth that I bought it from Hold It all day for me because I couldn't, you know, obviously carry it around or roll it up. But as I picked it up to walk out the door, I mean, everybody was like, "Oh my gosh, that's so pretty! I can't believe oh my gosh, I loved it!" Even the CaveCon director guy stopped us on the way out the door and had to take a look at it, and he pointed out that it was signed down here on the bottom by the artist. So
lots of cool stuff.
Yes.
Not all comic book related, but mostly comic book related.
Which is what you want,
yeah.
You know. I'm like totally ready. It's like, let's go read. I'm gonna read some stuff.
So, guys, if you're ever in the Springfield area when CaveCon is going on, hopefully
definitely go next year.
Coming back next year. I already want it to come back.
There were people from Kevin Smith's Comic Book Men.
That's right.
Yeah.
So you guys could have met them. One of the guys from Impractical Jokers, he was there too. So they had some nice celebrities already for the first year. That's like coming out of the gate swinging.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And you know, I mean, obviously we were a little more excited to meet Colin Bunn or talk to Colin Bunn again, you know, because we had so many things for him to sign and everything.
Sorry, Comic Book Man.
We were just excited to be there for the inaugural year.
Yeah.
We love checking out conventions.
I cannot wait for next year to see what they do next year and how much it's grown and everything, you know, so.
We will say this, I guess about the only bit of constructive criticism is we definitely hope that in the future they do some panels.
Yeah, we were a little wondering, you know, how come there's no panels? You know, you've got plenty of people there. You've got authors, you've got comic book authors, you've got artists, you know, you've got YouTubers there. There were some podcast people there. I'm not talking us YouTubers. There was actually a booth of a YouTuber there, watching Ellis actually. And, you know, then you had the Comic Book Men and then the Impractical Joker guy. So, you know, they could have been doing, you know, those all day. So that could have been a lot of fun to do. So I do hope next year that they will have panels because I do enjoy the panels. They're a lot of fun. I like to learn extra, you know, nuances of people. We learned a lot of stuff about Casper Van Dien we didn't know going to his panel. So,
but yeah, and I mean, you know, this is their first year, and obviously they're just kind of testing the waters. I'm sure that they just mostly wanted to see how many people showed up.
Yeah.
We are going to be keeping an eye out on Colin's Twitter account to see if he got a tattoo. He announced that he would get a tattoo if a certain number that he did not disclose, but if a certain number of people attended.
He hadn't gotten it by the time we left, so we'll see.
So definitely, guys, whenever you can hit these smaller conventions, especially the ones that are just starting out, get there, show some support. There's clearly great deals to be found, but get in there and show the support so that they can continue to grow and create awareness and get like-minded fandoms together so they can have fun, because there were awesome cosplays there.
Yeah.
I mean, people were just having such a great time.
I will say, shout out to my favorite cosplay was the Enchantress. She did an amazing. There were some really good ones there, and one, you know, but she just was really good. She even like walked around the convention like her. You know, so she did a good job. Because, I mean, I don't know that I could ever stay in character that long. But she was good.
Well, guys, we would love to know what you thought of our CaveCon pickups and our just CaveCon experience. So certainly leave those comments down below. Give the video a like if you liked it. Subscribe if you had not already. And feel free to share because we would love for more people to know about CaveCon and all the awesome people there and the people that put it together.
Yes, and don't forget to like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram and Twitter. We always like to put our closer upper pictures on there. We also always let you know on those medias that a video has dropped, even if YouTube does not let you know that it has dropped, so you can always rely on those things to let you know to come check out our smiling faces.
So, woo! We've got quite a variety here. We could read some comics, we could play some games, tabletop or video games.
I know.
Or, I mean, you could just sit there and watch La La dance. Just
I don't know what's better, her little can dance or those weird little aliens in the background shaking their hips. That's pretty awesome.
Alright, nerdlings.
I'm gonna go read comics. I don't know. Check out this one.